Hello, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you various ways to create beats in Phonon, our digital audio workstation. We'll start with the most basic techniques and work our way up. So if you don't care about auto-generating beats algorithmically, you may want to skip ahead slightly. I've gone ahead and created a track here with a stack of drum synths. As a reminder, in Phonon, control flows from the top to the bottom of the module hierarchy. That means that on a single track, you can have a MIDI generator followed by multiple synthesizers and effects, if you want. In this case, I have a kick synth, a hi-hat synth, a snare, a clave, a cymbal synth, a click generator, and a compressor to glue them together. The easiest way to make a beat in Phonon is to use a MIDI generator. As a reminder, these are not AI features. They're simple algorithmic generators based on the rules of music theory. I've added a breakbeat generator to the rack hierarchy. Let's unmute that and see what it sounds like. There are several beat generators in Phonon, each with their own distinctive behavior. Beat generators include the breakbeat generator, the drum and bass generator, the glitch drum, trap beat, drum ensemble, jazz drummer, and floor on the floor generator. The breakbeat generator is stochastic, meaning that the MIDI signals it generates are random, but governed by rules. Get used to thinking of drums in terms of MIDI signals. You'll notice on the right side of the module, you can set which MIDI note each drum hit triggers. By default, a kick is set to a standard MIDI note of 36, and so on. If I open our kick synth, you'll see that its trigger is also set to MIDI note 36 by default. Now let's switch to the floor on the floor generator. The FOTF generator generates house and techno beats. Like the drum and bass generator, the floor on the floor generator includes two independent lanes that can be cross-faded between. This means that you can automate a fade between two different beat styles by right-clicking on the crossfade knob and selecting Add Automation Lane. Let me show you one more thing. You'll notice that I have a MIDI region at the tail end of our loop. If I right-click on it, you'll see that I set its variation to fill. I have another MIDI region here that's set to count in. Some drum generators listen for these MIDI region variations and respond with pattern changes. The FOTF generator is one of them, and so is the D&B generator. Let's listen. Rather than show you every drum generator, let's move into drum programming, for when you want more direct control over your drum patterns. The most basic way of programming drum sequences is to use the drum sequencer. I'll open it now. You'll see I've gone ahead and programmed in a 4-bar pattern. I've also checked the MIDI out box so that MIDI signals will flow from the module down, but you can also load samples directly into the drum sequencer and manipulate them. The drum sequencer supports multiple patterns, which switch based on MIDI region variation numbers and arbitrary pattern lengths. This is a 4-bar pattern. If you want a starting point, you can select a genre from the genre dropdown and click Generate 4-bar pattern. Click on a cell to place a note, and click it again to delete. Middle-click a note to create a roll. The drum sequencer also supports Markov chain-based stochastic drum pattern variation. This means that the algorithm will take the pattern you've established and improvise on it. I'll turn the Markov slider up a little bit in a moment so you can hear what that sounds like. But first, let's hear the bass beat. And now, with Markov turned up, the next method of drum programming is the tracker. This lets you program in drum sequences as a top-to-bottom series of specific instructions, up to 32 notes long. Like the drum sequencer, it also comes with the ability to generate some preset rhythms and supports both MIDI out and sample loading. Click on a lane to modify the instructions for that note in the sequence. The tracker is useful if you want advanced control over snare rolls. Next is the non-quantized sequencer, which was inspired by the music production work of the UK artist Burial. If you're not familiar with his work, give it a listen. The non-quantized sequencer deliberately does not quantize any of the notes you place on the drum lanes. This allows you to build rhythms in an intuitive and unrestricted way. Next up, let's briefly look at the Euclidean sequencer. Make sure the Euclidean sequencer is set to drum mode, and select a preset from the dropdown. Then you can manipulate the parameters of each drum voice rhythm. I'm not going to go in depth on how to program this sequencer, but it's a powerful tool that's worth exploring for generating both drums and melodic content. Next, you'll see that I've added a module to the control rack called Mother Rhythm. This is a module that generates CV signals instead of MIDI, based on a wide variety of traditional rhythmic signatures. To use it, we're going to pair it with a module in our track hierarchy called Gate to MIDI, which you can find under the Utilities section of the menu. The Gate to MIDI module will listen for control voltage spikes and translate them into MIDI notes. Let's take a listen. Next, there is always hand programming in drum sequences using MIDI notes. Let's add a MIDI region to our track and I'll draw in some notes. Now, if I want to save this MIDI sequence for later or use it in other projects, I can right-click on it and select Save to Bank. I'll give it a name. This saves the MIDI sequence to my MIDI bank. Press B to open your bank. From here, you can drag any saved MIDI region directly onto the timeline. For example, this two-step sequence I programmed earlier. Next, let's look at the snippet arranger. The snippet system allows you to arrange small audio clips on a dedicated timeline in order to sequence a beat. There is a dedicated tutorial for this system on our YouTube page, so rather than going in depth on the system, let me just show you how it works. Finally, I want to show you one last system. I'll make a new audio track and drag in a pre-recorded beat that I want to chop up. Now, I'll right-click on it and select Convert to Multi-Sampler. This will generate a new track with a sampler that splits the drum pattern up onto MIDI notes based on transient detection. Then I can program in the MIDI sequence by hand. I hope this has been interesting and informative. Phonon is coming soon to Mac and PC. Follow the link in the description below to sign up for a notification when we launch. No spam, just a message when the doors open. I'll see you next time and stay creative.